Hello, my name is Annie Lux-Goebel. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Career Community Advisor within the Business Entrepreneurship and Consulting Career Community here at DePaul's Career Center. A little bit about our Career Center before I dive into my services overview today. We are located on both Lincoln Park and Loop campuses. Within my team, the BEC team, the Beck community, we are staffed with myself, a liaison to our employers, our wonderful employers who choose to recruit from DePaul year to year, who specializes both in business careers and diversity, equity, and inclusion recruitment, which is a big priority for our community and something that we actively engage in. And then we do have a peer advisor who is just hired on as well. So that's a little bit about our team, where you can find us. We are primarily located at the Loop campus in the Beck community. However, I am on Lincoln Park from time to time as well. So we have a lot of reach within DePaul physically. And then of course we have our virtual offerings as well, which I will talk about. So that's a little bit about where to find us. Schmidt Academic Center on the Lincoln Park campus, the DePaul Center 9th floor on the Loop campus if you're over at Loop for classes. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and share my screen and we'll go through an overview of our services. All right. So our deck today is going to go through a few common ways that you can engage with us at the DePaul Career Center. We have a list of different questions and conversations that you may engage with us on. However, this is by no means an extensive list. Students are also not limited in terms of how many times they can engage with us. There are no caps on how many appointments you can make, different events that you can register for. We encourage you to utilize our center and our services however works best for you and fits within your plans. One of the first things I like to highlight is this exploration conversation. Career development is very cyclical and lifelong. It certainly does not end after you graduate. In fact, we joke all the time that in the Career Center, a lot of us are still exploring, even if we found a specific field or role that we love and we're interested in. It truly, truly never ends. So this first one, I have no idea what I want to be when I grow up, or I'm trying to see what's out there. That is a great place to start. I think a lot of times students have it in their head that they have to have met certain benchmarks or have to have a certain question developed in order to come see us. I'm not sure what my questions are is a perfectly valid question. Another option, or excuse me, another conversation is options. So oftentimes you may really enjoy your studies or have taken a really impactful class or had a really meaningful experience outside of school, but you're not sure what the application of that skill or what you've gained from looks like. So I love the name of my major, but I'm not sure what I can do with it when I graduate. Talking about different potential pathways is something that we're very well versed in as well. And again, you don't necessarily have to have a targeted pathway in mind when you come to talk to us. A skills inventory is a great way to identify transferable and widely applicable skill sets, or what we call in career development core competencies. Things like working across similarity and difference effectively, project management, time management. These are all examples of skills that students gain in a multitude of different settings. So oftentimes I hear, I have no relevant experience, so I'm not sure what to put on my resume, or I don't have a resume because I don't have any relevant experience. Taking an inventory of the skills that we've gained throughout many different lived experiences, classroom experiences, part-time jobs, whatever that may look like for you, that's something that we can facilitate. Oftentimes it can be helpful to have a guiding hand in that process and just hear about our experiences from a different perspective. Pivots. So of course, plans change. I know last time I read a scholarly journal on college students changing majors, about half of all college students will change academic plans, career plans, make a pivot at some point in their college career, if not more. So how do you maintain that flexibility, adaptability? What are those options? If you're making a pivot, what steps does one need to take? If there are certain credentials that you need to gain, or there are things that you'd like to learn in classes, how do you want to spend your time gaining the skills necessary for that pivot? Those are all sub conversations within this idea of my plans have changed, now what? And then of course, tactics and strategies. How can I be most competitive in the job or internship search? So of course, as the way that we learn and gain experiences as students have changed, I say we as if I am still a student, but of course I commend you all for navigating this during this time. Our services have changed as well. So we have an asynchronous career library full of 1 to 2 page guides on a variety of career topics, including COVID-19 job search resources. So if you're looking to get the ball rolling and just want to explore content at your leisure in an asynchronous environment 24/7, this is a great starting point. A lot of times students will find some of those career library resources and gain ideas in terms of how they want to engage with us further. Other types of asynchronous services that we offer include a LinkedIn and resume review service staffed by some of our wonderful peer ambassadors who are very skilled at resume and LinkedIn best practices and personal branding. In this service, you'll actually submit your material for review, whether that's a portfolio, LinkedIn profile, or resume, and you'll receive an asynchronous video with feedback in return. Typically, the turnaround is about 2 to 3 days, depending on our volume. It could be closer to about a week, so that's what to expect in terms of timeline. Our live career chat is something that you'll notice as soon as you hop onto our Career Center website. So this is also staffed by our wonderful peer ambassadors. If you have quick career questions or seek referrals to services but aren't sure where to get in touch with the right person, who to get in touch with, our career chat can route you in the right direction or potentially resolve the question or have that conversation in the chat as well. Like I mentioned, we're offering virtual appointments right now. So if you prefer not to meet on campus, if you have a schedule that doesn't allow for that, I also recognize that there are varying comfort levels at this point in the pandemic, as there really is no playbook for any part of this pandemic. Virtual advising appointments can be a really nice, convenient way to share resources, even have some of those conversations as we're working on things across screen share, things like that. And then, of course, we have our in-person advising appointments as well. This is most traditionally what students are highly familiar with, as this is how we delivered appointments pre-pandemic. So 2 different ways to engage with us on an individual basis. Our peer ambassador will be offering both virtual and in-person appointments as well. One of my favorite things about working at the Career Center at DePaul is the career community advising model. So our career community advising model reflects the world of work, not higher education. And what we mean by this is not that higher education is not valuable. What that second part of this means is that you are not assigned to a career community based on your major or academic program. So that's what we mean when we say not solely based on the world of higher education. So for example, within the BEC community, the business entrepreneurship consulting community, I certainly see a variety of students in the Driehaus College of Business who come in to use our services. However, students across all academic programs and backgrounds have interests in business careers. So students are welcome to explore a variety of career communities. You're welcome to engage with multiple at a time. We don't want to limit students in terms of how and where they can engage with us. And we want to foster that intersectionality in your job search. So again, skills matter in this economy. The skills that you're gaining as a student at DePaul through your experiences in the classroom and beyond, that is what we want to convey to the world of work. So major doesn't necessarily have to limit you, is all we're saying. It's not that major doesn't matter. It certainly does. You are performing professional caliber work, gaining professional caliber skills in your classes that will be applied to these situations. However, we understand that students have dual degrees, you have multiple interests. Again, plans change, so that's why we allow this intersectional career model to really flourish at DePaul. Again, you have access to multiple. So I certainly have students who, maybe they're interested in working within a specific function within a different industry than is, highly traditional. So they'll engage with more than one community. Some students, again, are flexible on their pathway and want to suss out options with multiple advisors. So we're very collaborative in the way that we advise, and we'll certainly make referrals as is necessary or preferred by our students as well. So lots of collaboration between the community advising professionals in our office. You'll receive industry-specific advice. So I like to use myself as an example. So I worked in industry. I've earned a degree in HR, for example. So my background is pretty pretty deep within the business entrepreneurship consulting community in terms of my own interests and professional experiences. And then of course, the way that I apply that knowledge is within the industry of higher education. So in terms of, who you'll be getting advice from, our student ambassadors who help us out have a very high level of interest and industry experience in their designated area as well. So across the board, we have a very diverse staff in terms of our backgrounds and the way that we convey that industry specific information to students. And then what industries are represented? Of course, we're here to talk primarily about business entrepreneurship and consulting, but I also recognize that students may have those intersectional interests or just be curious about exploring other career communities, whether that be through events, advising, or even just signing up for our communications in the Career Center. So here's a list of those communities, aside from the one that I advise: education, nonprofit, and government. If you're interested in working in the public sector, for example, that would certainly be an opportunity to engage both career communities in your search. Healthcare and science, perhaps you're interested in consulting or serving in an HR management role, but are really interested in the healthcare industry, for example. You see where I'm going with this. I won't go down the line for every single one, but I really encourage students to utilize these fully. Media, communication, arts, and entertainment, and then tech and design. And then why join a career community? Career community is just that. I think there's a lot of appetite among students, correct me if I'm wrong, for that sense of community, as again, there is no playbook for coming back out of, a time of very extreme isolation to a time of a lot more in-person collaboration, or at the very least virtual collaboration. So career communities provide great space for you to engage with peers across all academic programs and interests with similar goals as your own. So we host a variety of events. You'll receive exclusive email alerts, usually with, I call them glamorous jobs that we think are really cool and want to highlight, just to highlight a sampling of the types of employers that say, we recognize the value of a DePaul education and we seek you folks out. Tailored industry trends and resources, so trend reports and resources to utilize in your job search, obviously career advising, and many other one-off events or miscellaneous things that we think would be relevant for our students in their job search and career development journey. I will send this slide deck over to share out as well, but if you scan this barcode right here, this QR code, you will be opted into a community to receive, like I said, emails about what's going on within the community, but also good information for folks who have similar interests as you to have as they connect with one another on campus. We really try to foster relationships with student organizations and keep you all in the loop. I'm not sure if anyone in this room has utilized Handshake or if you've scheduled an appointment on Handshake, but I wanted to provide you an overview of what we use the Handshake platform for. So Handshake is a platform that was designed actually by college students for college students to connect them with employers and career paths based on their passions, skills, interests, how all of those things intersect, as well as, identity, lived experience, all of those things. So we offer access to jobs and internships. Students tend to be pretty highly familiar with the fact that Handshake has a job board function, career planning resources, toolkits, events to register for based on a specific skill or career topic. These two kind of go hand in hand. And then of course, scheduling capabilities. So you do actually schedule appointments on the Handshake tool as well. So you have the opportunity to really make this work for your schedule. And of course, if you have any accommodations that you need, we can always work on that with you to get you connected to an advisor or resource that best fits. We understand that college students have a lot going on. Navigating Handshake for the first time can require assistance. You can always give us a call at the Career Center as well. So scheduling, finding employment opportunities, discovering when employers will be on campus to either interview or provide an info session, or sometimes even co-host events with us, connect with other peers, who have similar goals, even ask them about their experiences in many cases, and just explore. Again, don't come into an appointment saying, I know exactly how to use Handshake, or I need to know exactly how to use Handshake. This is something that we can help you navigate and help you optimize in your search as well. here's that career library that I was telling you folks about. So again, I will send this deck over with this link right here. But here are a few samples of the guides that we include and some of the career topics that are included in the career library. So informational interviews, personal identity and brand, dressing for success, within one's, comfort level, identities, culture, etc. So here are just a few samplings of what we cover in the career library. And then we do divide out by subtopics, so it's easier to navigate. Something we haven't talked about yet, though, is our 2-credit career management courses. A career management course can be a really great way to build career development into the spaces that you're already in as a college student. So you're creating a class schedule each quarter, you're showing up to your classes. This is a really great accountability measure. If you say, I'm feeling stretched thin, or I'm not sure where to start or how to build career development into my routine, this is a really great way to just do it, get it into the space where you're already. So a few samplings of the types of classes that we offer. So designing our future, really focusing on exploration, creating a career toolkit. So strategies, tactics, resources to help you in your search. This one is very specific to the search itself, like the process and strategy. Harnessing strengths. If that strengths inventory sounded like something that you're interested in, you're saying, I'm really not sure where to start in terms of conveying my experiences and the value of such on my resume. And then reposition your career plan. Again, we've talked about, flexibility and adaptability a lot throughout this pandemic, but in every career search. So these are 2-credit courses that can be, supplemental to classes that you're already taking. Perhaps you've taken 250 career management and you're looking to further explore certain career topics. We highly encourage you to check out the 2-credit career management courses. There's no sequencing or prerequisites. It's just based on what's going to best serve you in your own career development journey. I think that's the end of my deck. Let me make sure that I didn't miss anything. Again, I will send this over so that you folks have all the links that you need and you have access to, the Handshake guide. If there's anything that you'd like to learn more about that we didn't cover in too much depth today in this overview, feel free to reach out. And then, of course, if there are any other resources to share out, I will certainly be sure to share with faculty partners who can disseminate some of our career development content resources for students, again, in the spaces where you folks are already. And I thank you for giving me the time. It's always great to come into a classroom, even if I'm not physically in the classroom with you all, because I know there's a lot of great work happening in these sections. So thank you again for having me. If there's anything that I can do for you folks throughout your quarter and beyond, please let me know. I will follow up with the deck and my information. Thank you.